Welcome, time for some art fun. Today we're doing the in-action review of this little plein air setup, so stick around. About 4 months ago, I did an unboxing and first impressions video of this little setup from Rawlinson End, which is an Etsy seller that I found just searching for some plein air setups that would be super portable and easy to use. I added a lot of my own materials, so the only pieces that actually came, and you can of course go watch that video, but the only pieces that came with my particular set were this green bag, and then I'll let you know when we get to the other part, but the actual easel and the elastic on the easel and a little water cup that I actually didn't bring this time. Everything else I'm showing you here is what I personally loaded this set up with, including a watercolor palette, my brand new little Caran d'Ache 10 water soluble crayon palette, and of course, because this is traveling, some of my own paints come out and I need to push them back in as I'm getting to wherever I'm going. And this is my own little Pentalic, I think it's like a 5x5 watercolor sketchbook. And I brought my own water brush, colored pencil, erasable pencil for sketching, washi tape, anything else I need. There are slots for it in this setup. So this is my review after using it for several months and also just showing it to you in action. I'm showing it to you in several different contexts. This first context is in the airport waiting for my plane. And I basically just made it a mobile studio setup where I can just sort of spread out on the table and relax, and I can use the table and the setup. I'm not trying to just hold it in my hand and have it be an entirely handheld setup, which I also will show you when I do that in this video. That's how I use it when I'm doing a plein air setup and I'm just walking around the woods or something. I do make sure everything fits in one hand so that I can paint with the other hand while on the go. But if I'm on the plane or waiting for the plane, this is how I use it. And this is sort of the most luxurious setup where you can just spread out on a table. I also use this version of the setup when I get to a hotel or if I'm staying with a friend or family members. I use this same sort of spread it out setup when I get there. But I love having all of my art supplies in one compact bag. The bag is very high quality. The first edit that I made, and I think I anticipated this, and by the way, this is my first painting I'm going to show you, is this little shiny hamster. And then I'm on the plane. I'm going to show you on the plane how I actually set it up. So I take the little palette that it comes with, easel, I guess, handheld easel is what you would call that, and you stick it around the binding of a hardcover sketchbook. You technically would use an A5 with this setup. It can handle up to an A5 in this green pouch, but you can also, of course, do something smaller, and that's what I did on this trip. And then you clip either side, and by clipping the paper down, that's what holds it steady. And then there's two magnets on the top. My Caran d'Ache palette sticks there perfectly, as well as my little metal tin sticks there perfectly. On the plane, having this setup made a huge difference because I was in the exit row and I had just one of those little tiny lunch trays or whatever you call them that come out of the armrest. And so I would not have had enough room to actually do my work. As you can see, I kind of folded it over, but it ends right there. It's very, very short. So I wouldn't have had room. I barely had room for my arm, let alone like a full mobile setup like I had in the airport. So this was amazing. It doubled my workspace in front of me. It made it so that I could have my art materials in front of me, and it was a wonderful use of this setup. So I highly recommend if you are using this on a plane, it's a great way to do it. And it really might not be a function of this that you would have thought of, because at least for me, when I first saw this, I thought only about the plein air easel function. And there are so many other functions to this, and I'm trying to give you a good overview of all the different ways that I've used this and a lot of the different materials I've taken with me. Basically anything that is a metal holder, you can stick to those two magnets that you see there. You can hold it upside down and the magnet will hold things to it, even my big watercolor tin, but you can't like shake it upside down. The magnets are not strong enough for you to like shake it aggressively upside down. Something heavy will fall off those magnets if you do that. So after the plane ride was over and I did my mobile studio spread out or in an organized way set up in the airport, and then my on the plane, double my workspace function on the plane, I went for a true plein air stroll. And the first thing I'm showing you is how I changed up the bag. So when I first got the bag, it had a lot of these shorter straps looped through loops on the front, and they have little clips that you can actually unstrap them from the front and clip them together. And that's exactly what I did because I didn't love that it didn't have a way to just carry it. I added two ways to carry it, making these straps that hang down and adding this carabiner to the side there. The carabiner allows me to clip it to my jeans loop, to my camelback if I'm hiking. You can clip it to another bag, so it's like an extra bag. You can clip it to your clothes. You can clip it to a lanyard if you have a lanyard around your neck, because this is pretty lightweight. If you're using this setup, then the rest of this bag you could literally clip to like a sturdy necklace if you wanted to using a carabiner. So just know those are two changes I made from how it comes. And I really love the bag. It is a very sturdy, very hardy bag. You can throw it on the floor of the woods. You can throw it anywhere in your car. You can stomp on it by accident. It's going to survive. It's washable. You can throw it in the wash. And I really love the bag. It is very well made. And the fact that you get the bag and the easel and the water cup and the strap, like the elastic for the pen on the right there, I have my water brush in it. It was a lot to come with this and made it really easy to just add my personal art supplies and get going. So this is how I work when I'm working outside. I put my little water rag there so I can switch and clean my brush off between colors. I clip it to my hardcover sketchbook and hold it in front of me because I'm a righty. I just paint with my right hand. You can absolutely message this guy and ask him to put the magnets on the other side because he does custom orders. And in fact, mine was a custom order. He can absolutely put the magnets on the right side. If you're a lefty, that might be a better setup for you. So think about that. I actually got a question on that 4-month-old, as of this video, 4-month-old video with my unboxing and first impression of this, where someone said, do they make this left-handed? And he certainly could. This is not sponsored, by the way. I haven't talked to this person other than making my custom order several months ago. I don't think this person even knows that I'm doing these. I just went on Etsy to find something that worked for me, and this has worked for me. So you can see the airplane sketch there on the left and my plein air sketch on the right. Obviously, I always love to throw extra footage in here for you because that's what I love with videos like this, to see where people are sketching and get inspired by the surroundings. But some changes I would make, I do wish that the pen loop, the elastic, when you're painting, like when I had my water brush in there, it was hard to get it in and out with one hand. And you are usually working with one hand if you're out and about. So I did want to note that I wish they had almost like a pen pocket that you could just easily slide it in and out without having to use your other hand to make it easier to scooch it in and out of elastic. But on the other hand, that would also be less secure. I'm in favor of slightly less secure and easier to just get things in and out on the actual easel, because once I'm set up with my easel, I'm not planning on like jogging with it out. You know what I mean? I'm not planning on shaking it around and all this stuff. So I'm okay if instead of this sort of elastic loop, there was something a little easier to get it in and out on the actual easel in the front. Inside of this bag, with all the storage, it's actually easier to get things in and out of those loops than it is the elastic on the easel. Before I keep going to my last setup I'm going to show you, here are just a couple of other sketches that I made with this plein air setup in between that first video and this video. So just wanted to show you some other examples that happen to be in this sketchbook that I have with me. This is my last example I'm going to give you. It's another sort of home studio moment, organizing my art supplies while I'm visiting my family, so that I'm not just taking over their dining room table the way I often will at my own house. This setup helps keep me organized while I'm visiting. Again, like a little mobile studio that I can take out while I'm using it, pack it up when I'm done. Everything's in one spot. I'm not losing my micron pens or my fancy watercolors. Everything is sort of ready to go. So I really love that function. And I'm just showing you how strong the magnet is there so you can see, because it is hard to see sometimes. But I wanted to do an example with a soft cover sketchbook. This is a Stillman and Byrne, and it is a soft cover. It's much larger as well. And I can tell you that the soft cover worked great for the studio, but I could see if I tried to pick it up and paint with it the way I did with that other sketchbook with the last painting out and about in the plein air, it's not as sturdy. It doesn't hold this as straight because it doesn't have the hardcover. So this setup is made for a hardcover, typically like a Moleskine style A5 sketchbook, any A5 sketchbook. I like the Handbook, Traveler's Handbook I can't remember. It's in a bunch of my videos, but that one that a lot of us art tubers really like. It's a cheapo sketchbook that I like to bring traveling. This works great with a 5x5 hardcover and A5 hardcover, and I bet it would work great with any sized hardcover because the issue with this was not the size, it was the soft cover-ness. But I had seen some beautiful gardens in my trip here, and so I worked from a reference picture that I had taken to just make a really beautiful path down this really cool overflowing green garden that was in a greenhouse. So it was still really flowery and beautiful. And I didn't want to get into the details. I just wanted to give the feeling of what I was looking at. And this was so much fun to use. It's nice to just have everything right in front of you. I love how organized it makes me feel. And it makes me want to paint. When you know where everything is, it's all organized, it's fast to take out, it's fast to put back together. It makes it more accessible to be painting while you're traveling. And so I don't think to me that it matters as much if I'm painting outside or inside or on location or from reference when I get back. It's more, can I find ways to make painting while I'm out of my, normal setup at home more accessible, where it doesn't feel like I'm interrupting the trip or being a jerk for taking time from the trip to do some painting. It's something I could just quickly do while everyone else is still sleeping or when everyone's running into the shower between destinations for the day, and I can get some painting done. So I really do love this setup after 4 months. I don't have any complaints other than wanting an easier way to get one-handed my writing and painting implements in and out of that strap on the actual easel, and having some way to carry the bag easier than it came, almost like a clutch. So I prefer something that I can throw over my shoulder, something that I can clip to my camelback while I'm hiking so I don't have to have it in my hand the whole time I'm walking around. So those are my only two edits to this setup. I hope that you enjoyed this and that it helped give you some ideas of how you might use it. If you're thinking about getting a setup like this or even making one for yourself, please remember to check if you're subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Remember to like the video and leave me a comment. And until next time, remember, create something cute.